My name is Paul Wolliver. I'm the owner of Pinellas Power Products. I've got a new product to introduce. It is a wireless remote shut-off for the Yamaha EF2400iSHC. The EF2400iSHC is not an electric start generator, so what this does is it allows you, if you are camping or if you're a truck driver or something like that and you are in your bunk or in your sleeping bag and you've got the generator running for lights or air conditioner or whatever, and you don't want to have to get up and get dressed and go outside to shut off the generator, you simply press the shut off button on the wireless remote control tab. The kit is pretty straightforward. First thing that you'll do with the kit is take the battery pack, and all this battery pack is a portable cell phone charger, along with a shameless advertising plug for myself on the front of it. But at any rate, you'll notice that there are no additional buttons on this portable cell phone charger or battery pack. The reason is the ones with the extra button have a sleep mode or energy saver or power saver mode. And what they do is when you unplug it from the charger, after 30 seconds of inactivity, it shuts off the charge controller in this so that it is effectively shut off. So if you've got your remote control plugged into those and you go to hit the remote control button, nothing happens. You have to walk over and hit a button on the battery pack and turn it back on. So if you go to purchase additional battery packs for them, either purchase it off my website or purchase one that does not have a button on it. And here are some examples of ones that are perfectly acceptable. This one made by Pilot Electronics, Pocket Juice, and so on. Again, they have no buttons to wake them up, so to speak. When you plug this one in, it'll have a red light and it'll turn blue when it's fully charged. So the first thing I recommend doing is taking the wall charger that's included in the kit and the power cord for the wall charger and charging this thing up. Incidentally, the chargers that are included in my kit are LG Electronics, and they're a low power one because I anticipate people plugging it in and leaving it overnight to charge would be the typical situation. I am not sure of the validity of the reports, but I'm sure everybody has read on the internet that some of the battery chargers charge them too quickly and it creates a fire hazard. So that's why I set up all my kits with the low power one. So it will take approximately 6 to 8 hours to fully charge one of these batteries. The kit also has a transmitter. You simply push that button to shut the generator off. It has a remote control unit, a flash drive, which is your video instructions, and that will contain a copy of this video that you're watching right now. It'll have 2 large zip ties and about 6 small zip ties, and these are used just to tidy up the work area, to zip tie all the wires back in place, and to mount the battery pack when you're done. It'll also have 2 small metal terminal connectors, and that's used to hook into the Yamaha wiring harness. Wiring procedure on this is pretty straightforward. Unscrew the panel on the front of the generator. It's held on with 6 Phillips head screws. Strictly for your own information, I like to leave this screw to last when I am removing it, and I like to put it in first when I'm putting it back on, because that way everything will hang from that screw, and it's just a little bit less frustrating if you're using only one person to do the job. First thing to do is locate the on-off switch. And that's right here. Unplug the factory plug from the back of it. Then remember these two terminals that come in the kit. Just slide one terminal onto the bottom plug, one terminal onto the top. So now you have two of each. Take the stock wiring plug and plug it back on. I plug it onto the far side simply because I find it easier to work with it. It's out here. Take the door off the oil fill cap, and that door will completely unsnap so that it's not getting in the way constantly. Now take the radio module. The radio module itself, complete with the relay and the antenna, is enclosed in this heat shrink tubing. Two brown wires have a 0.187 terminal on each end, or on the end of each wire. It does not matter which wire goes where. I would start with the bottom, and trust me, these are a fairly tight fit. They are not likely to fall off easily. They also don't go on real easy. But you'll push them on just like this. Then take the plug that goes to the battery, and you'll see there are two holes already in the case. Go to the lower hole, stick one hand in the oil fill cap area so you can feel the wire coming down. And what you want to do is hook the wire and point it toward the oil fill cap so you can feel it. If you got smaller hands than I do, it should make your job a lot easier. Okay. Pull it down to where the wire plug is clearly visible. And I'm going to go ahead and take one of the small zip ties and zip tie the radio module. You'll notice that there's already a zip tie on the factory generator. So I'm going to run my zip tie under that one. And once I get my hands out of the way, you'll be able to see better what I did. Okay. So now the radio wires are zip tied to that. Now let me just cut off that little tail. Now for the battery pack. There are several different ways you could mount the battery pack. My opinion is I want the battery pack serviceable through this door so that you can plug it in and charge it or remove it or whatever you need to do at any time. I don't want it behind this. If you choose to put it behind this, it's your generator, it's your battery pack, it's your choice. It's just that I don't want to have to unscrew those screws before I go into it. So I'm going to go ahead and put this panel back on, and then we'll get to mounting the battery pack. As I stated earlier, I removed this screw last and I put it in first. That way, once that screw's in place, the panel is kind of positioned for you. Okay, so everything under here is correct now. As I had indicated earlier, there's a red light on the battery pack when it's plugged in, and it'll turn blue when it's fully charged. You'll notice that this is not fully charged. We're about to find out if it's charged enough to actually work. It's only been charging for a few minutes, and as I stated earlier, full charge is not achieved until 6 to 8 hours later. Okay, there's a few ways that you can mount this battery pack. As I stated, I want it, for my own purposes, I would like to see it visible through this door. There is an area right up here above this screw which has a pin sticking out, and it goes behind the wiring harness. You can actually tuck the battery pack right up behind the wiring harness, and it'll stay there. And then plug the plug into it. My concern with that is it's not clearly visible. It's nice, it's up, it's out of the way, it doesn't intrude on changing the oil, but if somebody looks in there, somebody other than the installer, they may have trouble finding it. So, what I prefer is mounting it right back here with the battery itself sticking out just far enough so that you can see the battery, and then you'll have the plug sticking out here. In order to do that, you'll have to drill 2 holes in the plastic case. So if you hold the battery right in front of it to where the end of the battery sticks out right to here, so we just barely see the battery. Now what we're going to do is thread a zip tie through these holes, and it'll go around the battery pack. It's easier if the clasp for the zip tie is in the front, and I'm going to demonstrate it that way first, simply so you can see how it's done, and then you can picture what it would look like if you had the clasp in the back. But it'll go in one of the holes and back out the other. Might be easier if I went in through the top and then back out the bottom. Okay. Then I'm going to push it all the way up against the generator. You'll notice that the end of the battery pack is tapered so it can have this loop, but take advantage of that taper to be able to slide the battery pack through the loop. But it's going to go inside the generator and through that loop to where it just barely sticks down a little bit, and then we'll just pull it up snug. So if you need to pull the battery pack out to recharge it, that's possible. And the kit comes with about a half a dozen of these small zip ties, so if you mess up and you need to do it over, you're going to get a lot of extra chances at it. It also has 2 large zip ties in it, which you probably never need. But at any rate, so now you'll notice that there are 2 plugs on the end of the battery pack. One matches up to this. So I'm going to go ahead and plug this one in. Okay. So now you can see if you're doing an oil change, it'll be easier to unplug this and do your oil change and then plug it back in later. but the battery is nicely zip tied against foam, so it's not going to be cracked or anything like that. And although this is not as aesthetically pleasing as tucking it in here, I like it better because you can see the thing and get at it to service it. Okay, the operation is quite simple. You'll start the generator, and then to shut it off, you'll simply push this button and hold it in until the generator comes to a complete stop. If you release the button before the generator comes to a complete stop, it'll start right back up and run again. Let's see if that battery is charged up enough to actually work. So put the start switch in the start position, or in run position here. Pull out on the choke and pull the rope, see if it starts. I'm not going to run it very long because I don't want to run an engine in a small room and fill it with carbon monoxide. So I'm just going to start it up and then shut it down. Okay. Now I want to demonstrate another aspect of the wall charger. If you're going to be using this in a permanent location, like say in a small motorhome or a semi-truck or something like that, where this is going to be a vehicle used generator, and you want to leave the battery pack in place and have it charged all the time instead of pulling the battery pack out to recharge it, you can plug the charger in and then plug the charged cable into the battery pack at the same time. You can see they will both fit. Then take the cord and either tuck it in here or zip tie it into a nice little bundle. Again, you've got plenty of zip ties. Then take the door off the generator. You'll have to put a small notch in the cover so that the door will close over the power cord. And if you wanted to, you could put it over here in this corner and it would be more aesthetically pleasing. That's your choice as to where you want to put it. But this would allow the battery to stay charged the whole time. If you unplug the battery charger and simply charge it up before you go camping, you'll get approximately 5 days standby time out of this battery, and it takes 6 to 8 hours to charge it up this way. But that should just about do it.